Let's talk to Ricardo from ActivTrades. Very happy Christmas to you and your family.
Happy Christmas, Nick. Thank you.
Okay, let's kick off Brexit. I was watching the numbers come up last night, and there was a very good argument that it was a good outcome, and then suddenly it was a bad outcome. In terms of the markets, okay, does this give us breathing space, in your humble opinion?
The markets moved very quickly to price in the decreased chances of a hard Brexit.
Yep.
However, the vote was not perhaps as clearly in favour of Mrs. May remaining Prime Minister as she would have wished for. About a third of her own MPs voted against her, so said that they did not have the confidence in her to remain as Prime Minister, and this is quite damaging for her internal credibility. Also, we have to look into the arguments she used to win the votes of many of those that voted for her. So essentially, she agreed not to stand up for re-election and said that she will stand down before the next election, which is scheduled for 2022. So essentially, she sold the future away for the short-term support. What this means is that she's weakened within her own party. Political capital is reduced. It's true that the chances of a hard Brexit decreased for now.
Yep.
However, it's not clear how she will manage to gain enough support for her Brexit deal. It's quite possible that we'll see a general election before we see an actual agreement on what's going to happen in regards to Brexit. And therefore, the movement we saw yesterday, just over 1% in a pound against the dollar, represents some optimism from traders in the markets regarding decreased chances of a hard Brexit, which is widely perceived as being negative for the British economy. But it wasn't that significant to the point of that momentum being carried. It stopped. And this means that there's still many clouds in the horizon, many question marks. No one really knows what's going to happen yet regarding the actual outcome of Brexit. And so the markets are positioned in a more optimistic way, but still very careful and just treading water for now.
In terms of technical analysis, I've looked at some of this point and figure analysis, and they're suggesting sterling, okay, against the US dollar. If we break the 123 area, it could go down to 107. Right, let's talk about
107.
107.
Wow.
The point and figure downside target.
Yes, time to move our savings to a euros account.
Exactly. Let's talk a little bit about the ECB. Obviously, headlines overnight about Italy, this 2.04 budget. We got France, Macron appears to be in trouble.
Yes.
What are your thoughts from the ECB today?
Well, I mean, the general consensus is that the ECB will announce at the end of their asset purchasing program.
Yep.
This has been expected for a long time. I think the markets reacted to overnight reports that confirmed and further strengthened this wide consensus. But it was a very modest movement. I think looking ahead, there are many headwinds for the euro. The political situation in several crucial euro countries raises many question marks. We have in France with the Gilets jaunes, the yellow vest movement, which threatens President Macron standing, and Macron is one of the pillars of Europe.
Yep.
If he goes, it's no one really knows what's going to replace him in France, and it may as well be someone with completely different ideas and not very pro-Europe. We also have some problems in Germany, where the AfD, the far-right party, also highly critical of Europe and the euro, is gaining terrain. Chancellor Merkel just announced that she will not be running for Prime Minister and will stand down sometime next year. And then, of course, we have Italy. We're getting some more encouraging signs from Italy. They've now agreed to reduce their budget in the future to keep it closer to what the European Union expects. But we see that Matteo Salvini, the Liga's leader, is gaining enormously in popularity. I think his popularity ratings are now 60% or something like that. If there were to be elections tomorrow, he probably would win. And he's also anti-Europe, anti-Euro. So, to summarize, troubled times ahead for Europe. and for the euro, because the political momentum is not in favour.
Understood. And finally, to wrap up, any favourite currency pair or anything you don't like or anything that's making you very bored?
Yes, the favourite currency pair at the moment has to be cable. Has to be. I mean, it's a roller coaster. We saw yesterday. I was watching the news as they were unfolding regarding the results of the vote, and I was looking at my trading platform, and I was seeing the price action was just crazy. Very quickly, people were cashing in, closing positions, taking profits in. It was like this. It was. I mean. It's
a permanent fast market.
Yes, and it's crazy how the currency of one of the world's leading economies can behave in such a way,
and look like Bitcoin.
And exactly, and how much uncertainty there is about the political future of the country, the future shape of the way the country's economy will be conducted and how it will relate to other countries, and of course all of that influences greatly how the Bank of England will behave, and ultimately the currency. And I think it's just very entertaining watching, if sometimes painful.
On that note, Ricardo, happy Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you, Nick, for you too.